When Winston Churchill stepped away from power, it wasn't him who approached the Queen, it was the Queen who came to him. That's the kind of presence he commanded. He didn't just fill a room, he filled streets, nations, history itself. I won't sell you fairy tales. Watching one video won't make you Churchill. No one in the past century has come close to his level of leadership, but he wasn't born a legend. He had a lisp. He failed his school exams. He drank too much. By any conventional measure, he should have been forgotten, but he wasn't, because at some point in his life, he made a decision. He studied leadership, psychology, body language, and public speaking with an obsession. He crafted every gesture, every word, every silence. He built himself from the ground up. Today, we'll break down the 9 principles that turned Churchill into a force of nature. 1. Take your time. Despite being one of the greatest public speakers in history, Churchill had a lisp. When he spoke too fast, he stuttered, so he slowed down. He embraced the power of pauses. He never rushed to respond. Predators in the wild, like lions, move deliberately. They don't twitch, they don't panic, they own the space they occupy. Prey like gazelles are jittery, always ready to flee. Speak slowly, control your movements, and you exude dominance. Rush to speak, and you become the prey. Churchill understood this instinctively. 2. Prepare for war. Churchill never winged it. He rehearsed speeches for hours. He anticipated every possible question, every attack. When he stepped into a room, he was never caught off guard because he had already fought the battle in his mind. Preparation is the weapon of those who refuse to lose. 3. Listen like a hunter. Churchill was known for his speeches, but in conversation, he spoke less than he listened. He let people talk until they exhausted themselves, until they turned to him for guidance. Most people are so eager to speak that they forget to listen. Churchill mastered the opposite. He listened so well that when he finally spoke, everyone hung on his every word. 4. Master the battlefield. Churchill treated every room like a battlefield. He positioned himself strategically, never placing his back to a crowd, always maintaining sight lines. He understood that where you stand dictates how much power you wield. Never let yourself be boxed in. Always hold the high ground. 5. Move with purpose. Every Churchill movement was deliberate. No wasted gestures, no restless fidgeting. He moved like a grandmaster in chess, each action carrying weight. Modern leaders burn their power away by shifting, nodding, fidgeting. Churchill didn't. He moved only when necessary, and when he did, it was a statement. 6. Stand like a warrior, feet shoulder-width apart, knees slightly bent, chest open, head level, not raised in arrogance, not lowered in submission. This wasn't some power pose from a self-help book. This was battle-ready posture. Churchill stood like a man who could not be moved, and he wasn't. 7. Wield humor like a sword. When Lady Astor told Churchill, "If I were your wife, I'd put poison in your coffee," he shot back, "If I were your husband, I'd drink it." Humor was not a tool for making friends, it was a weapon. Churchill's wit was sharp, merciless, and left opponents dismantled. He never laughed at his own jokes, never explained them, never apologized. His humor was calculated, and it won wars before battles even began. 8. Know your weaknesses, so no one can use them against you. Churchill knew his flaws. He had a lisp. He drank. He had health issues. He struggled in school. But because he knew them, he could prepare for the inevitable attacks. He anticipated every insult, every criticism, and was ready with a counterstrike. Weak men ignore their flaws. Strong men weaponize them. 9. When you fail, use it as fuel. In 1915, Churchill ordered a military mission that cost Britain 250,000 casualties. His career was in ruins. He resigned in disgrace. Most men would have faded into obscurity. Churchill did the opposite. He went to the front lines. He fought in the trenches with common soldiers. He rebuilt himself from the mud and blood. Failure destroys weak men, but for the strong, it is the foundation of greatness. Churchill turned his greatest disaster into the launch pad for his greatest victory. Because failure doesn't end you unless you let it. Churchill didn't become Churchill by watching videos. He became Churchill by taking action. If you want to rise, stop making excuses and start building. The journey is long. The road is brutal. But if you refuse to surrender, greatness isn't a possibility, it's a certainty. See you in the next one.